All right, let's chat about this movie. Welcome back, fellas. No. We're a little 2-week hiatus, maybe even more, because I'm not editing this episode tonight. That is a fact. But we'll edit it this week.
It's worth the wait because I got some big news for you guys.
Oh,
What?
what's
Hit us with the big news, Joe.
I'm going to have a nephew come April.
Oh,
we had
that's
the
actually the first
gender
time
reveal
I've heard this. That's amazing. Hell yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, we had Mila's
two-time
first
Uncle
birthday
Joey.
and the gender reveal at the same time. So
Aww,
we will be expecting little baby boy soon.
little baby bee.
Congratulations,
Yes.
two-time Uncle Joey. That is
Thank you. That's why we
very
took 2
exciting.
weeks because
And Angela and Mike.
we had to count the votes and recount
Yes.
the votes. And
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and
Make
good
sure
point,
that it was
James.
really the boy
Congrats
one.
to Angela and Mike. More importantly, it's not just baby.
Joe didn't do anything to make this happen, but we're happy
Thank
for it.
God.
Thank God.
Yes. Big congrats there.
Big congrats.
Yes.
The family
Okay.
is bigger.
Take us to the episode, Kev.
Sure. Well, welcome back, everybody. After that good news, I feel like my camera's all weird now. I feel awkward on camera. I hate that. Welcome back. We are here for our latest episode, Spiderhead, on Netflix. Spiderhead, in the near future, convicts are offered a chance to volunteer as medical subjects to shorten their sentence. One such subject for a new drug capable of generating feelings of love begins questioning the reality of his emotions. It's starring Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, Journey Smollett, Mark I'm going to fuck this one up, Paguio, Tess Halbrick, and Ben Knight, and then a bunch of other people who are just like side characters. Directed by Joseph Kaczynski, who I'm not familiar with. It's a Netflix original. It came out this year, right? June 2022.
Yep.
June 17th, 2022. Been meaning to watch it, but just never got around to it, so figured it was a good time. Joe, I think you had watched it a while ago.
Correct.
And then rewatched. So, first reactions, let's jump into it. We'll start with the two-time watcher, Joe. Joe, what you think, Joe?
So I watched this twice. The first time I remember liking the movie, like really enjoying it, but when we decided to do it for the podcast and I was like several months later, I genuinely forgot what it was about. Like I remember watching it, liking it, doing some research, and then not liking it so much. And then when I rewatched it again, I was like, oh no, I do like this movie. Like it is good. It's entertaining. There's a lot of logic and, like reality you gotta send out the door. Like, don't worry about that. It's not a crime movie about like the judicial system, because that's just, there's a lot of plot holes you'll find with that. But it's entertaining. I liked it. Good acting on Miles Teller's part. Chris Hemsworth, I think, does good for the job he's supposed to do, but it's a little over the top sometimes. It can be hard to really enjoy. But overall, good entertaining value. I love the concept. I think it was executed a little cheesily sometimes. But it's a unique idea. I'll say that. I don't think I've seen a movie where this is like the sole, like this plot is the sole purpose of the movie.
Yeah. Like I definitely. Do you want to just hop
Trying to
off that?
not spoil.
Yeah.
But
Let me just hop
jump
off
in,
that.
James.
Let me just jump in. So I definitely think that the premise of this movie is like a 10 out of 10. Like it's really, really interesting. Like exactly what Joey said. I think agree the execution was maybe like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. At least like right now before we really get into it. The acting was, I actually thought Chris Hemsworth was pretty good. Like obviously like not to get into what he's doing, but like his role demands a very like cheesy, like almost like robotic stack of lines. What are you doing, Kevin?
I'm sorry, I'm refocusing my camera. Sorry.
Kevin's got technical issues. But overall, like I think the execution was pretty good. Like overall for the movie. I think that it could have been better, definitely. Like I think that they're like this premise, like this dystopian, like it's almost like a Black Mirror episode, if I'm being completely honest. Like the actual premise gives me that kind of feeling. I know we talk about Black Mirror all the time on the show, but like they do a good job of kind of like like bringing out the other, like very genuine and interesting stories. And this feels new, which is a good, like a breath of fresh air, especially for like sci-fi thriller stuff, because a lot of times they're just like brr, time travel, brr, and then like we just get the same movie over and over again. Which we watched a few of those on this podcast, but overall liked it, didn't love it, and I'll send it over to Kev.
Yeah, I think I agree with pretty much everything you guys have said. The story, it's an interesting story idea. The acting I thought was really great. I love Miles Teller. I think he's one of the better actors right now. Chris Hemsworth, I thought did a good job. I think he maybe the writing for his character was weird, but I think he played what was written at least. So I think he did a good job. Um, you know, I think everybody involved was good acting. It wasn't a massive cast, but everyone was pretty good. There was some weird, like, I don't know, and we'll talk about it more in the spoiler section, but it didn't make me it kind of, the story kind of felt a little weird at the end. Like the resolve felt wrong to me. Like it didn't feel like I didn't feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I was just kind of like, they were pushing for something that didn't feel like okay, and we'll talk about that a little more. I guess that's a little cryptic, but yeah, the story was a cool concept, just ended weird for me. And but it was entertaining throughout. Like I think the pacing was okay, maybe a little on the slower side, but it kept you engaged and interested, at least for me. And yeah, it wasn't bad. So
Can I ask you guys a question?
yeah.
Oh,
No,
I was gonna say, what did you guys think on the execution of like caring about the characters?
So that is kind of where I felt a little bit of the ick towards the end.
Mhm.
I think they did it. I think at least two characters, I think they did a good job getting you invested into the characters, or at least Miles Teller's character. They did a good job with, and I don't think they really tried too hard with the other ones, because I don't think you need to, other than maybe one character, which I think they might have lacked a little bit on, but intentionally, because it's part of the mystery behind it, or the what they're trying to keep away. But I thought I didn't think they did a bad job. I didn't think they did the best job, getting me to like these characters. But yeah, kind of talk about that in the spoiler section, the issue I had with it. And then I was going to say too, I think it made me at least interested enough to read it's based on a short story. So I'd be interested to at least read the source material, because it's a cool concept, or an interesting concept. So
Agreed.
And that is called Escape from Spiderhead, if anybody is interested.
It's a short story. Who's it by? You want me to ask?
It's a short story, I think, in a book. Like there's a book with like some short stories in it.
Okay.
The book is titled 10th of December, which contains the short story Escape from Spiderhead.
Got it.
Written by George Saunders.
Interesting.
So that's all I had first reactions wise. Any other notes that you guys thought of right away? I know it's been a couple weeks since we watched it.
No, I think honestly, keeping the short reactions a little shorter is helpful, because I feel like a lot of the story, like it's hard to talk about the story without giving away a lot, because there's no real intro. They just kind of throw you right into it. So
right.
I'll just say this: the last note before we decide. I didn't like the name, like the way they named their drugs. I thought was like cheesy. That was where I kind of felt like
that was stupid.
It was
taken out of
cheesy.
it. Darkened
It was like
Yeah.
but that is kind of true to like how they used to name drugs. They're not allowed to do that anymore. Like there's regulations on naming drugs based on like what they do. But they used to back in the day, and there are still drugs that are named kind of like that, where it's like whatever they're doing.
Head
I'd have
hurting
to
medication.
think of some examples. Yeah.
It just reminds me of like Harry Potter, where it's like a spell that just it's just like a spell that kind of like says what it does. I don't know exactly. But they have like Laugh-A-Dill, which is like the laughing drug. Then they
Right.
have like
Yeah.
Darkenflex, which just sounds like the painful drug. Then there's
Yep.
what was the other one?
Don't
The
go
love
too far
drug,
into it,
just
Joe.
like
Don't
love
go too far
drug.
into it. Spoiler,
Yeah.
spoiler.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right,
Um,
so decision time. Decision time. We'll start with James since we started with Joe for first reaction. So James, first reaction: are you pressing play or are you scrolling?
I'm gonna do a press play for me. I honestly think I think our audience would like this. I think that it's not for everybody. Like especially like if you don't like the like darker like thriller stuff, then like you won't love this movie because it's a little more of a human story and like the warping of a human story. So. Overall, I think it's pretty good. I think it was an entertaining movie. It wasn't too long, right? It was like
I think it was an hour 45.
hour 45. Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. So yeah, I'm gonna click play.
Agreed. I'm gonna press play. It's entertaining. Some gripes with it, but we'll get into that in the next section. Nothing, I think, to not watch it.
I'm gonna go a different direction. I think for me, the movie was overall forgettable. I think while it's an interesting concept, I just think the execution was kind of weird, and like the resolve was also kind of weird to the point where it wasn't groundbreaking for me, and just all in all forgettable. And yeah, I would just keep scrolling because I don't think there's any value to the movie, I guess.
I agree with it. Like I said, I watched it twice. I watched it back in June when it first came out, and like here we are recording in November, and it was a little bit forgettable. Yes, like I genuinely was rewatching it and forgot like what the story, like a lot of the story and the plots, but I enjoyed watching it again. So like to me, it passes the rewatchable test. But I get what you mean, where it's not gonna be a movie that you like go back to in 10 years from now and want to be like, oh, that was my favorite movie of all time.
Right.
But it is entertaining, so I'm like, oh great, I've got 2 good watches out of it in 6 months that I'm happy with.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. We will discuss more in the spoiler section. If you haven't watched the movie and you'd like to before we get into the spoilers, go ahead. And in the meantime, if you're enjoying what you're seeing and you enjoy the content we're putting out, please, please, please like, subscribe, follow our socials, flicks_fellas on the gram. That would be huge for us. If you like the stuff, we post little clips and things like that. So check it out. And then we also have a Patreon if you want to see us put more out and better quality and you like what you're seeing. $12 a year. That's the cost of one sandwich. One sandwich at lunch.
One sandwich.
And you get our Patreon for the whole year. We got perks and things like that. So check us out over there, and then if not, we will see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, we're also like right on the fringe of 100 subscribers. Like, if we need listen, tell your friends, tell your parents, tell whoever. We need a couple more subscribers, so you can help us out.
If we get 400 more,
shaving his head
by March, I will shave my head. So that is still on the table. We need 400 more. Hit up your friends, whatever it is. If not, we will see you, and I will have a full head of hair in March. But we'll see you after the break. Ciao, ciao.
Not yet.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. For those who have returned, we got probably a quick spoiler section here, but we will try and get through all the nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts, the nits and grits of this movie. So boys, what did you actually think of the movie? Spoilers free. What you
I lied in the first section. I hated this movie.
Because screw those guys that only listen to the first section. This movie sucks. I don't want to talk.
We just wanted them to waste an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. Now you're after the sponsored segment, so you're getting the real deal. This is the good stuff.
I feel like there's really not much to this movie.
No.
Right? Like, the acting was solid. The story was okay. the twist, there's really not much of a twist.
I
You
mean-
would think in a movie like this, there's a big twist, but there's not like a big twist.
They
other
definitely
than,
build it up a lot and then don't deliver it.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't deliver like it should. I feel like it should deliver a punch, but it's just the way that they set it up where you're like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like obviously a
ask you
big
something.
deal, but it has no premise. It has no bearing on what's going on in the movie when it happens. All right, sorry, Joey.
Right.
Are you guys talking about the twist of him being the owner of the company, or the twist of
Yeah,
the whole drug, the one drug that they're actually testing?
I was talking about like the fact that like he was holding that one girl's crime like over his head the whole time. But like I guess
that wasn't much of a twist, but the twist.
So we're all talking about different twists. That's
We're
what I
talking
just
about
wanted to
different
make
twists,
sure,
yeah.
because I'm
But
like,
they're like not like big twists, like any of them really. Like the one, the girl's crime isn't a twist; it's just something that they hold back from you.
Mhm.
The twist of him being the CEO of the company
not
is not
surprising.
really a big twist.
No.
Like you could see that coming. I actually kind of assumed that.
I
I
also
assumed that
assumed
too.
his company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The twist of the drug that they're actually testing was kind of good, but had no bearing on the movie.
Yeah.
Like had no bearing on the outcome or whatever it was. It was
Mhm.
just kind of like, oh, like they're extra scumbags.
Yeah.
And then the twist of like the girlfriend being in the car. Also,
that one got me.
yeah,
I will say that one got me.
interesting,
Mhm.
but at the same time, you don't care because like they're not together, or like you're assuming that they're just not
Yeah.
together.
There's like a little
Because rightfully so, because he killed her brother in a car accident.
yeah. If I'm
So
gonna,
it's like
if I'm gonna be honest, I feel like it's almost like there's like all of these individually are good twists because there's so many like aha moments like in a row, like it cheapens all of them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Here's the thing though about like the girlfriend twist being in the car when
Mhm.
he crashes, and like because they don't tell you that until like the third flashback, I think it is.
Mhm.
It does retroactively, I feel like, bring back an emotional punch that
Yeah.
he is now
Sure.
like every time you see him on the mountain, like you don't. I didn't feel bad. I was like, okay, he's calling this girl. He's probably like it felt like harassment almost because
Yeah.
like she clearly doesn't want to be with him. He's in jail. Like
Mhm.
give it up. But then when you find out that she died and she's
It's like
um,
trauma. Yeah.
it's like trauma, it's like therapy for him. It does
Mhm.
that was the biggest emotional punch to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
I definitely think of the twists, that's the most powerful one by far. Yeah.
I agree. Now, if you guys were prisoners,
Yeah.
Do you want to give a quick summation about like what
Premise.
the premise of this is? Because I feel like the
Yeah.
logline kind of doesn't do too much justice.
yeah. So essentially, the movie, if you guys haven't watched it already and you're just listening to the spoilers, is that these prisoners are brought, like, apply for this program. It's Spiderhead, and it's a drug testing program, testing these drugs that can pretty much control your emotions. And the prisoner Miles Teller is like a star prisoner. He's in jail because he killed his friend in a drunk driving accident, and starts to realize that there's some sketchy stuff with the business and what they're doing, and is asked to do things that are unethical or causing pain to other patients. And that's pretty much the crux of the movie, is him disagreeing ultimately with what's happening and what they're asking him to do. And then at the end, you find out that the twist was that they were trying to test a drug where he will do what they tell them.
Yes.
Like
It's like a
full-on
mind control
obedience.
drug. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a
So-
compliance. It's like for ultimate
Yeah.
compliance. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and that's like, you can see those beats where he's like, oh, give her the darkened flocks. And they hide it under the guise of, we're trying to see if the love drug works, where like you love her so much that you won't put her through pain. But it was really, will you do it because we tell you to do it?
Yeah. And like even though you would disagree
And
with
ultimately
it.
it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I guess my question to you then is, like, outside of this, if you guys were prisoners, would you go into this program not knowing the darkness behind it? But if they were like, we want to test these drugs on you and you get to live in this awesome house, I feel like it would be hard to say no.
Got a
Yeah.
solid answer for you. It's 100% yes. as I've stated in previous episodes, my biggest fear is to go to a prison. This seems like a very nice prison that I would like to go to.
Joey's like, give me
On an
whatever
island
drugs you
in
want.
Hawaii. Yeah,
Yeah.
drug me up.
Yeah, me too, dude. That
Yeah.
seems like a sick. I would go there now.
I would do it too.
Yeah, it seemed like just like a
I would go there
resort.
now.
Just
I'm
be
not
in
even a
prison.
prisoner.
Just
Yeah,
fucking
I'm not-
send me right now. Yeah.
Dude,
Pump
I'm
drugs.
telling
Literally,
you,
the only
That
thing
seems
they're
like a
missing
cool
is like a
place.
pool.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
like-
this
Fuck
this
yeah,
movie's
yeah.
also
There's no locks
super
on the door.
NSFW. There's like, I feel like they have sex in this movie like in the first half. Like I felt like it was like every time I turned back and look at the movie, like there's two random people having
Yeah,
sex.
Well, James,
but you don't see like any dong. Or,
No,
like, no
no,
one hangs
no.
dong, and there's no yiddies in it. So.
Two
No,
things.
it's just like
One-
I'm glad I had my headphones on, so it's not just like loud as fuck. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine like watching this movie because there's also like no lead in. It's because they're testing it, so it's like conversation. You know what I mean? Like,
That was so funny too when he sat down and the big dude, the big
oh my god, that was
fucking,
so funny.
like Aryan
So
Brotherhood
funny.
dude comes in and he's like, I'm not doing this. Like, do not do this. Like,
I am not gonna get. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
That is so funny. That is so
But I
Yeah,
just
good.
want to
that
point
was
out, James,
funny.
that no movies are NSFW because you shouldn't be watching movies at work.
Oh, it's true.
Bad,
He
bad
ain't wrong.
employee.
He ain't wrong.
That's true. Or all movies are not safe for work because you shouldn't be watching them at work.
Oh yeah, that
True.
you know that
Yes,
makes more
that's-
sense because that's exactly what Joey just said.
No, Joe said that no movies are NSFW because you
No
shouldn't
movies-
be watching
Yes,
them at
hey,
work.
Kevin is accurate.
And I
had a
said
double
that they
negative.
should all be
Oh.
NSFW because none of
You're
them should
right.
be watching.
Yeah.
So
at work.
Joey's
Yeah.
wrong and a bad employee. I'm calling your employer.
Yeah.
I'm calling-
Yeah. Fuck you, James.
Says the guy who just
In my-
admitted to watching it at work.
I didn't say I watched it at work.
Oh, dude, in
You
my
said, "I'm
old
glad I
job, I
had
used to watch
headphones
it all the
on
time.
and-
No, I'm glad I had headphones on, like at home. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, like if you lived with like your parents or something, you're like watching this movie, you'd be like, sound go up, sound go down, sound go up, sound go down.
Dude, I will tell you this. I watched season 1 of American Horror Story with my parents when it was airing on TV, so we were in high school. Worst thing ever. Did you guys watch
No,
the first
I didn't
season?
watch any
Yeah.
of that.
A lot of
What?
BDSM.
You didn't,
I've
James?
never watched. I don't like
There's
horror
this-
stuff. Why would I watch that?
American Horror Story,
That's
the
a
first
classic.
season at least, for me, is great. But there's a scene I will never forget. I'm scarred for life. And I don't know what the context behind it is, but the main dude is like, the camera cuts to him in his bedroom, and he's ass naked, and he's facing out the window. So this is a perfect camera setup. He's facing out the window.
Oh,
Can you
God.
still hear me?
Barely.
Kinda.
He's facing out the window this way, and all you see is his ass. He's completely naked, and he's just like overdoing this shit. And and I'm sitting there, dude. I'm mortified. My dad and my mom are sitting right next to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it cuts out, and he's like staring out the window, and then there's this deformed dude like looking at him in the window. It was so funny. I was like, oh shit. So yeah, I have no qualms if I was watching this at home. It'd just be another fucking Tuesday.
Yeah, like you've
I
already
guess.
breached that barrier.
Oh,
with your
yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll
Um,
say with this one too was that like it didn't seem like a very dark movie. Like I kind of liked that it was like a lighthearted sci-fi deep movie, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden that scene where she just like is hopped up on Darkenflox and like ends up like stabbing herself. Like
Yeah,
That
dude,
was
that
a
was
hard
fucking
scene.
nuts. Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was wild. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think we were gonna go that far with this type of movie,
Yeah.
but they
That definitely
did it.
made me super uncomfy. Like that was like
Yeah.
a very like because like I think it's just like torture. Like I don't know why. Like I feel like it's like action movie torture is like different than like actual like horror movie torture. Like horror movie torture
Mhm.
is like I'm assuming what
Just pure
torture is.
gore.
Yeah, and it's like it was
Yeah.
just pain. Like it's like the turmoil is what they like focus on. And it's
Mhm.
like that is just like the like I don't want any of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That was good. I think ultimately a big problem I had with this movie is tone wise. Like I feel like it was jumping around a little bit.
yeah.
And my example for that was, you know, towards the end there when everything's kind of unraveling in that office. Where Miles Teller's figuring everything out. He's like going back and forth with Chris Hemsworth, and it's like it's getting very tense. And you find out about the girl and how she killed her baby, and how Miles Teller killed his girlfriend, and it's very heavy and it's very tense
Yeah.
tonally. And then like then they go to escape, and it's like this like goofy kind of like a Benny Hill
Yeah.
escape scene. You know, I was expecting that as
It
they're
was
running
kinda
away
like
from
that.
all the prisoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was like kind of goofy. So like that to me kind of like pulled me out of it. I was like, oh, this is like
Kind of dumb.
kind of weird,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
like just kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
Can we?
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was gonna say I agree with that. I also want to talk about the um the girl's crime of killing her child.
Yes.
Do you have IMDb up? What was her name?
Yeah,
Lily?
Journey Smollett, the dude who faked the hate crime. It's his sister.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
Jesse
No,
Smollett's sister.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Completely.
It's Jussie.
Jesse.
Joe, it's
Sorry.
Jussie. Yes, he faked a hate crime. You don't remember that, James?
No, I remember hearing about that. Again,
Yeah.
it's one of those things like it happened like a year ago or so.
2 years ago, I think it was like
Yeah.
It was
like
a little while
during
ago.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did you need?
Her
You
name.
just needed
Her
her name.
character name.
Okay, yeah. What about it?
I just want to know her character name.
Oh, but like, what about the scene when you find out about her baby?
Oh, I just wanted to, like. I feel like that's.
You still haven't
Well, can you
provided
tell
him
me
the
her
character
name?
name.
Yeah.
You still haven't-
Oh, the character name.
Yes,
Oh,
the
fuck,
question
I'm sorry.
3 times.
I was like,
He's
what about it?
He's
Like,
like,
what is it?
Joey's like, what's her name? Kevin goes, oh,
This is
it's
Patrick.
And then you said her like the actress's name, and then you're like, oh, remember that thing? And then Joey's like, yeah, what's her name? And then he goes, yeah, what were you talking about?
It's not my wallet.
I was like, Joey, I'm here with you. I don't know what he's thinking about either.
This is the perfect
Lizzie.
time.
Her name was
Lizzie.
Lizzie.
This is the perfect time to insert that meme from Billy Madison where he's like, everyone in this room is now 10 times stupider for what you just said. Anyway,
yeah,
I was going to say,
not my wallet.
Lizzie's crime of killing her daughter, I think it was essentially, also not a surprise. I feel like
Yeah.
that's like a cliche thing that they like have, like the mother in movies always like accidentally kills their baby.
Yes.
And I almost wish
Classic.
they did one of two things. Either they leaned into it more and they were like, oh, she had a psychotic break and like intended to do it and not like
Right.
accidentally, so you don't feel bad for her. Or it was just like, I murdered my parents. Like something crazy, like
And
Yeah.
I
unexpected.
murdered my parents.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like she like it wasn't. I didn't think it was a huge surprise because it was like the whole time she was like she seems like super nice and like nothing's wrong with her even though this is a prison and like
But that's
she's
why
like
you
but I
know
did
that-
some pretty bad shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's why you know it's not like you.
Yeah.
They make you really empathize with her. That like, and you
Yes.
like don't feel bad. Like you feel like she's like not supposed to be here, and it's like, well, clearly you are here for a reason. So make it a crime that really knocks
So-
us off our
Yeah.
tail and be like,
Yes.
damn, I can't believe I was rooting for her. Or like
Yeah.
happy, like
Yes.
excited about her.
So, but on that point, and this is kind of what my issue was that kind of gave me the ick at the end, where I was like, not sold on this movie. Was they make you? It's like they're trying to make you empathize with them, and you want like they want you to root for them over Abernathy, and like, oh yeah, like get out of there, like you guys should be free, and
Yeah.
like blah blah blah. But me personally, ethically wise, like he drove drunk and killed 2 people, and she killed her fucking baby.
Mhm.
Like I have like 0 issues with them being in that prison for the rest of their lives
Yeah.
and being tormented.
Well, that's the
and,
other thing.
like,
Is they
that-
weren't
those
supposed to
crimes-
be.
But they no,
Like-
but yeah,
Right.
because she did her whole sentence and was supposed to get out like 6 months earlier, like they said.
Both of
right,
them.
but to me, those 2 crimes, like I don't think they should just like for me personally, like I think those are sick crimes,
Yes.
and like you killed a baby
Yes.
because of your negligence. It's not like Joey, like maybe it was something where like we can empathize with what happened, and like like shit happened, and like we like you as a character. But to me, like I don't like you as a person.
No, agreed.
Because of these crimes that they committed. So I was like, I don't really want them to escape. Like
Yeah.
I would
fun-
almost root for the dude who's like
Drugging them up.
trying to
Yeah.
drug them up.
You're like, go get 'em.
Like,
Go get
fuck
those-
two people.
Yeah.
So
No.
that kind of gave me the ick. I was like, I don't know why I'm rooting, like why they want us to root.
I
for these
do feel
people.
like they
They've been
kind of
fucked up.
like they give them like they definitely have their moment of like, hey, listen, like I'm a bad person, you know what I mean? Like, but I agree that they kind of like just wash over that completely because the main character, like Miles Teller's character, is like, I don't care about that, you know what I mean? Like, and they just like hope that the audience doesn't too. But like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that like obviously like I hope that she had a long sentence because it's like a very bad crime, you know what I mean? I hope he had a very long sentence because it was obviously a very bad crime. But like if people like are like they do seem like they have like true remorse for what they did and like they like
Yeah.
had spent time. So I'm not saying like I don't like I think that there's people that they're like fuck like what I did is whatever, like I'm not like I don't feel bad about it. Like those people, you stay in there, you fucking sit. You know what I mean? But like it seemed, at least in the like how they explained it, like even she was like, listen, give me the darker flocks, I'm a bad person, I deserve it, you know what I mean? Like
But here's
Yeah.
my thing too with it. Like, yes, it's a horrible crime. If it happened in real life, like everybody would be like sick to their stomach, and it's
Yeah,
like,
100%.
it obviously
Yeah.
has happened.
it's super fucked up,
But
yeah,
it's a character that like we're not too invested in throughout the movie. It's like
Yes.
Yeah.
a baby we don't know at all. Like you almost can't empathize with it and be like, okay, she made a mistake as a like a person,
yeah,
but like, and that's like a horrible enough crime you have to live with, for a punishment you have to live with for the rest of your life, that like you
Right.
can be like, okay, maybe she doesn't deserve to be there. Like I wanted her to be there. I wanted her to be there for like a horrible, again, it is horrible, do not get me wrong, but like an intentional crime is what I
Yes.
wanted for her to really be like,
yeah, you wanted her to
I
be like,
don't
oh,
want them
she's
to
a bad
escape.
guy, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And then also the fact that like you said, their paroles were up like 6 months ago and they should have been out. I'm like, that's where I'm like, okay, you didn't need to throw that in there because it's a very like throwaway line that they say,
yeah,
and you're going to
it's
tell me
supposed
that
to
there's
like send
no
home like that this guy's doing illegal
over-regulation.
bad stuff, you know?
But there's no regulation at all to be like, hey, let's do an inventory check of what inmates are in here by the
You
government.
say that, you say that, but there's like this is actually, it was like one of the points that I did want to talk about was the fact that this is like I think it's also like a not a caricature, but like a commentary on like how like the prison system works in the US, because like I think 90 like 9 or 90 something like 90+% of prisons are all private. They're all companies that like charge the government for inmates.
No, and I get that commentary on the system,
Yeah.
but I still feel like there would be somebody who would say like, wasn't this guy supposed to be out 6 months ago? Or like, don't you have a
Yeah.
calendar or like a clock?
Well, I
I
think-
know they don't have a calendar because they literally
Yeah.
say, they're like, is it Christmas? Like we don't know. Like it's just,
But it's
we're in
also
here
like
forever.
you know what I mean, like how diligent are the people that are responsible for that stuff? Like how like you know what I mean, like what
But
how many
even
people did they
self-
apply? You know,
Like you don't think that if you were in prison and you don't have a calendar and you have this good relationship with like this guy, you
Mm.
wouldn't be like, hey, what day is it? I was supposed to get out on June 1st, and he's like,
It's true.
oh, it's
Yeah,
December
but
2nd.
I don't think they're
Like-
counting. That's the whole thing. Is like I think that like I don't know. Maybe like I agree that I think that like people are not like the prisoners are very
inmates
docile,
count.
but maybe it's because
think
of
if
the
you're in
drug
prison,
that they're
you-
docile. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Like-
if you're in prison, no matter what, you count till you're out.
Yeah,
Like-
but what I'm saying is like I think the drug that they have is like one of the reasons why they're not like because like
Yeah.
all of them have like the you listen to me drug, and like that's why
Yeah.
they're not worried. So it's like maybe that like also is like like I don't want to like muddy the water. Like they'll let me know when I leave. You know.
Yeah. Look, my point is, it didn't bother me enough to like not watch the movie because it was such a throwaway line.
Yeah.
It was just stupid that they had that in there at all. They could have just been like,
Yeah.
you're going to be out next week. Like, why are you
Yeah.
ruining?
Yeah, or
Right.
something like that. I also wish it wasn't like such a blatant like said thing. I wish it was like when he was like going through and like looking at like the bingo card was dumb that he found the bingo card and like he was all fucking mad about that. Like that was stupid. Like I wish he had found like a sheet and had like dates and times and like what people like were in for. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
Andor did it better. The latest episode of Andor, or the most recent ones.
Did they come out with more episodes?
Yeah. You only watched up to the heist?
No. I watched up until the like when he's in the prison.
Oh, there was an episode this week.
Oh, I thought they stopped making episodes. Fuck. I have to go back and watch.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
I thought they were done. I
Sorry.
thought they were done.
Spoiler, spoiler. Anyway, yes. All right. Well, I mean, I think I got everything that I need to say about this movie.
I agree.
Agreed.
Boys, shall we
Play the game.
do we play the game before we double down?
Mhm.
Yes.
Always have been.
Always
Always
have.
Always
will.
have been. All right. We'll do Rotten Tomatoes.
Tomatometer.
Tomatometer. Let me see here. Spiderhead. Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, we got two scores here. We got the tomatometer and we got the audience score. So let's start with the tomatometer. We'll start with James. James, tomatometer. What you think?
I think it was kind of entertaining, but it's one of those like abstract movies. So this is this isn't audience score. This is like actual like reviewers.
The
Yes,
critics,
this is
the
tomatometer.
professionals.
I'm gonna say I feel like it's gonna be really swingy. I'm gonna give it like a 68. 68.
Okay. Joe?
I was gonna say similar. Like I'm conflicted on this one because I don't think it's like great that they're gonna give it low, but I think it's gonna be enough people to be like, oh, it's worth watching. 77.
38. Yeah,
I didn't know
quite
that.
low.
That's
Oh.
incredible. That's so
Quite
low.
low.
That's
Yeah.
so low. That's wrong, dude. Like it's not that
Very
bad.
low.
Like it's really not that bad. Like
I don't think it's that bad. This is like the critics being like,
we lost you, Joe. I can't hear you.
"Meh." Yeah, we can't hear you, Joe. Oh, wait, I think I heard you just then.
I just heard.
No, I hear.
Hello,
it's-
hello?
he's
Yeah,
fumbling
you're
with-
good, you're
Yep,
fine.
gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I was gonna say
That's-
after the first time I watched it, I remember like looking into it just to see like what the feedback was, and that's what I think made me like feel like it wasn't a good movie because like I
That's
saw
so
a lot
funny.
of negative reviews,
That's
but I
so
just
funny.
completely forgot until I just heard that score and I was like, oh, that's
You're
right,
like,
that was this movie.
Not only did you forget about the movie, but you also forgot about the score that you looked up after the movie.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
literally, very forgettable.
But hey, listen, I was lower than Joey. That means that's a dub in my court. I was way off. I was like
Yeah.
40 or not 40. I was like 30 off.
30 off, yeah.
But hey, that's a
Hey,
dub.
how about audience score now? So you got some info. What do you want to say on the audience score?
52.
56.
Joey? 56?
Did you just Price is Right me, you motherfucker?
Kind of. I was gonna say it anyway.
29.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
think
that's
the
on
audience
over
could
five.
go that low. I didn't think.
Yeah, dude, it was low. People
What's
did
the
not like
meta
this movie.
score?
Do you want to guess?
It's gotta
I
be
want to guess like
high.
a 2.
Yeah, but Metascore's always so low. Like they're
No,
so
Metascore's
low.
always wrong.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's
Which
why I want
means,
to say
what
2.
if it's so high then? What if it's a 7? All right, I'm gonna go
It's like a
7
95.
for Metascore. Yeah, I'm gonna go for 70 for Metascore.
12.
54.
Yeah, see, like I agree with Metascore now more than I do with
Yeah.
fucking Rotten Tomatoes.
The
heck?
for the first time ever.
Did I watch the
that's
right
crazy.
movie? Did I?
I don't know. Did the reviewers watch the right movie?
Yeah. Well, whatever. All right.
Hey, yeah, different. Let's double down. James, you doubling down or?
Yeah,
you
I'm saying I think
you
it's worth a
switching?
watch. Honestly, I think it's like it's obviously got some adult themes. It's rated R for a reason. Watch it. Don't watch. Not a fan of the movie, but it's like an interesting, like dystopian,
Yeah.
like take on a drug induced prisoners. So take what we will with that. But overall, it was an interesting story, and I liked it.
hmm
Joey,
Joe.
Likewise, I'm gonna double down. I watched it twice, so you should watch it
maybe
at
I
least
will
once.
third time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's just
I was also not swayed. I'm going to keep scrolling still. I mean, it's just a little forgettable and not really worth the time. Go watch Black Mirror instead if you
Yeah,
want
Black
something
Mirror is
tech
better.
switchy.
I don't know. Black
go
Mirror I
watch
think
Black
can be
Mirror.
too dark. Like this is dark,
Yeah.
but it's not like unwatchable dark.
No, because if it gets too dark,
Like,
you
that's
go
what I
watch
like about
San
this, that it's just,
Junipero
like-
and you're good.
My biggest
Yeah, but
issue with
I-
Black Mirror is it's a fucking bummer. Like it's like
It's always sad. Yeah, like this
Yeah.
is
Except
like
San Junipero.
this has some sort of like optimism
Yeah.
feel to it. Just like I don't know, just like I don't know.
Like
I like
when-
the vibe of it.
Chris
That's
would
what,
ever
like, the
beats
tone.
himself into a mountain.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna do a sequel, and then I'm so glad that he yeeted him into a mountain. Like I was like, he's gonna get away, and they're gonna do a sequel, and then he
just
yeeted him.
smacked into a mountain.
They were, and then they saw the critics' reviews, and they're like, "Quick, rewrite the ending."
put him in the mountain. Put him in the mountain. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks for joining, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this review. We got more in the hopper coming up, so stay tuned. Like we said before, go follow our socials if you like what you're seeing. Flicks_fellas, very active on Insta. Check out our Patreon, only $12 for the year, $1 a month. Not too bad if you ask me, and if you really enjoy it, all the support helps us put out better content, more content. And mix things up a little bit. That one was hard to get out. But if not, hey, no worries. Just keep watching us, giving us views helps too. So we will see you next time. Who knows? Maybe it'll be 3 weeks. That seems to be working out for the subscribers. But you will see
Algorithm.
Flicks fellas, I will see you next time.
See
Ciao,
you
ciao.
later.
Bye.